Kyle's impacted my life a lot since we moved here a couple years ago. When we moved here, we were 400 miles away, and we moved to Ashland, and I took a job here, but we didn't know anybody. And so I didn't have a church, and my wife and I decided to try Riverview, and Kyle met us and shook our hands and was really warm. And then he got my phone number somehow, and then he texted me and was like, hey, do you want to grab some coffee? And I thought that was really cool because we were new to town, we didn't know anyone, like I said, and to have the pastor of a church texting me and asking me to meet up and get to know me felt really good. And then when we met at a coffee shop, I wasn't totally sure what to expect, and he was so warm and welcoming, and I think we talked about theology a lot there, and I kind of challenged him, he kind of challenged me, and I liked him right away. And he just made a huge impact on my move from 400 miles west here, and since then, you know, we come to church here all the time. I'm an elder here, and really much of that and our stay here can be attributed to Kyle Ballard.
I want to thank Kyle for all the work that he has done with Jeff and I as part of our premarital counseling. In the last year, we've moved, bought a house, had a baby, and there's just was a lot that had been happening in our lives, and we were very prepared for that as a result of all the time he spent with us in counseling. He joked at our wedding when he married us that he spent more time with us than any other couple he had before, and that was, I think, was pretty true because we started in November and we didn't finish until our wedding, and it was just a really good time, and we really got to know him and celebrate, and there's just been a lot of blessing but a lot of stress in our life since then, and I think as a direct result of all the time and effort he put in with us that we've been doing so well. And so we're going to miss him, but we're really excited for all he's going to be doing with his next step, and we're going to miss the family, but we know that they're going to go out and do great things. So.
And I just got to say that, you know, it's truly a pleasure to come in every Sunday and hear him leading everybody in the congregation, and it's like every conversation or every sermon he gives is a conversation that he's just having with me, telling me, hey, listen, because this is some really good information. So I really value the insights that I get and how he challenges me absolutely every single week that I come to church. Kyle, this shirt's for you, man.
I'm very thankful to have had the opportunity to serve in ministry with Kyle and Jill. First of all, Jill is just an incredibly gifted person. You know, she's great with details and events and organizing everything, and that was huge for us at Riverview. But she's not just good with the details, she really cares about people and has a huge heart for the gospel. And I just really enjoyed the relationship that I got to have with her, just as a friend and then working on staff. And then for Kyle, Kyle helped me grow a lot just in ministry. There's a lot of different people that I have in my life that I'll call when I have questions, and I always have seen Kyle as a person that has a lot of wisdom with relationships and counseling. And so, you know, even as we go forward, I think that I'll always, you know, reach out to Kyle if I have a question or how to handle this or how to talk with this person, because I just see him as such a man of wisdom, and I'm glad that I got to know him, not just as a staff member again, but also as a friend.
The first time I met Kyle was when he showed up at our house. We were having church plant meetings, and he was there. He was very nice, very gracious, but you could just tell with his demeanor that he didn't really want to be there. So to me, it's been just amazing to see how God has taken Kyle from not wanting to be there to being our pastor the last 5 years, and even growing in his own faith, just seeing his journey and his passion for the word just increase. And I just think it's so amazing how his first series was the 66 love letters, and he ended his preaching here at Riverview with living and active, and just really encouraging us to be in the Word, and not just to read the Word or not just to be in it, but to really dive into the Word and just allow God's Word to transform us from the inside out, so that we are truly Christ followers and living for Him. So Jill has just been an amazing friend to me. She's been a great partner in prayer. Probably the thing that, when I think of Jill, the thing that stands out to me the most is prayer. Is just her dependence on God, and that really allowed me to help me to trust God at a deeper level, and to surrender, learn how to surrender more things to at a deeper level. But she's just been a very trustworthy friend and somebody that I could always count on. Over the years, Steve and I have had to say goodbye to a lot of pastors. We've had a lot of deep relationships with the pastors that have pastored churches we've been in. But this is probably going to be the hardest one to say goodbye to. We just love the Ballard family.
Kyle and Jill, it's been great to be friends for the last 12, 13 years, however long it's been, and just the time we've spent together. I mostly appreciate just the fact that who you are on Sunday morning is the same person who you are on, coaching football or New Year's Eve, whenever it is. It's just consistency is there, and you say it how it is, and you care the same on every occasion. It's not an act. It's just being real. So thank you very much.
And Kyle and Jill, it has just been so much fun to get to know you, and just to have our families grow up together over these past 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, whatever it is, and then once we started working on staff together, that was just so fun to do day-to-day stuff with you guys, and just the dynamics of having a husband and wife as part of the staff team was super fun. And just Kyle specifically, appreciate the freedom that you gave me in kids' life, and your encouragement, and the way you believed in me. So I really appreciate that. And then and Jill, just working with you day in and day out was such a pleasure and so much fun. And I think that that's what I'm going to miss the most, is just you guys, just how fun you made everything, and just you guys encouraged us to grow as a staff team, and yet we watched you guys grow as well in your roles and in your relationship with Jesus. And so it's just bittersweet, but we do wish you the very best, and just to follow where God is taking you, and as we continue just where God is taking us to in the next season of Riverview. So thank you.
So I moved away from Ashland a couple months ago because I got married recently, and when I saw the email about making a video for the Ballards, I knew I had to be here. Thinking about Kyle and Jill and the kids leaving Ashland just brings me back to the beginning of my spiritual journey, and the beginning of my recovery too. It's almost been 3 years sober, and it's almost been 3 years since I started coming to church. I just remember when I first came, Kyle was the first pastor that I ever had that I felt like he was talking to me instead of at me. He was a person. He recognized that he wasn't above anybody. He just made me feel comfortable and like I was supposed to be here. When I first started coming in, I couldn't even look people in the eyes, and I think Kyle recognized that in me, and it was because I just had this huge weight of guilt and shame because of my choices leading up to getting sober and leading up to coming to church, and just everything that surrounds that. And slowly, after listening to Kyle's messages each Sunday, just this amazing balance that he has with truth and grace, and the way that he can just speak and just bring out conviction in my heart, but not make me feel guilty. That got me to just recognize who I am, and I am a child of God. And I don't know that any other pastor could have just made me feel comfortable in all my faults, and just knowing that I don't have to clean up to come to God. God will meet me where I am, and the Ballards will meet you where you are too. Not only Kyle, but I remember very early in my recovery, and when I first started coming to church, I think I had only been coming here for a couple months, and Jill actually asked me to sit at the house with their kids. Their regular babysitter was gone or something, but for me, in that place of just where I was, just feeling untrustworthy, unwanted, just like I was not good enough for anybody, and having this family just open their home to me and trust me with their children, and then having their children just be nice and loving and play with me and allow me to read with them and just do normal things in their home. It meant more than I think they will ever realize, just the way they trusted me without even knowing who I was. I've just been thinking about, it's just really bittersweet when God calls us somewhere else. And I feel like I know that from personal experience, but I just also know how amazing this family is and how many more lives they're gonna bless outside of Ashland. And yeah, I miss the Ballards, and I know that they're gonna be missed here, but their impact won't be missed because they're gonna touch so many lives.